Hi guys, my name is Manoj, and in this video we are going to practice some very hard PMP questions. So if you are going to get good marks in these questions, let's say more than 65%, I'm pretty much confident that you will be able to easily pass the PMP exam. So I would recommend while watching this video, please pause the video when the question pops up and try to attempt it yourself. Okay. And try to match the answer, try to learn the PMP mindset. Basically, in this video, I'll be focusing on my critical thinking technique rule number one. Rule number one says that we should identify the problem correctly and relate the answer options solution with the problem. It's very simple, right? So there can be a lot of things as per the question scenario. We can talk about a lot of things, but we need to identify the actual problem. Okay. It takes a lot of time, guys, to create questions like this. While drafting these questions, I have to be very, very careful about the language, about the answer options, and then reading it again and again to make sure that it is, making sense as per the PMP mindset. So please do like the video in case if you're learning something from it, and also put your comments. Whatever is your answer option, please do put that in the comments. Okay, so let's move on to the video. Thank you. So let's try the first question on the screen. Is this fine or shall I zoom in?
This is fine. Will this be option C?
Okay. Guys, please answer. Ankit, Prashant.
Sir, I think
B is the answer, I think,
Yes, sir. B seems to be the most appropriate.
because I
Okay,
think
what,
as per my
Prashant, what
thinking,
are
sir.
you?
Yes,
What is
as
your
per my
option?
thinking, I am also thinking B because the problem related with the stakeholders, and he is the, we can say, subject matter expert. So before going
Wait.
for
See,
right
guys,
now,
guys. Okay, one request, please. Just give your answer. Do not give the explanation behind it. We want to save time.
yeah, okay, sorry, sir.
Okay, please
It's
don't give the explanation. Just give the answer. Okay. What is the answer?
B, sir. B. Meet with the
Okay.
stakeholder prior to.
So, okay, learning number one. Okay, we have discussed this, Nitin. Basically, whenever you see going to the sponsor, okay, that is not a right option. Okay, remember there are some exceptions to this, and I'll be sharing that recording with you. Okay, and
Mhm.
you would understand where to select. Okay, we can go to the sponsor or somebody senior, and where we cannot. So this is not the right option. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at the other options. Okay. Also, I think that C is not the right option for sure. Let me read. Okay. Um, Yeah. So in this case, see, we don't have any option. We know that the meeting was pre-scheduled. We know that, this guy is someone important. Okay, he can definitely give some important inputs. We are in a situation that we have to get his inputs. So let's relate the problem with the solution. This is the right answer. Okay, but why the other options are incorrect? Okay, update communication management plan. This is definitely not the correct thing because there is no issue with the communication management plan. It was very well scheduled. Okay, as per the communication management plan, whatever was the procedure, we did follow that. We don't implement the change. We cannot implement the change just like that. We have to connect with the team. We have to understand the situation, analyze the situation. So this is also absolutely wrong. Okay, initiate change request. Okay, to remove the deliverable, I mean, this is impossible, boss. This is impossible. Okay, I hope we are comfortable. Can we move on to the next question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Nitin, we just need to develop that critical thinking process. There are some rules. I would share that recording with you. Wherever you guys are not comfortable, let's discuss that answer option. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next one.
Sir, I guess B seems to be the most appropriate option in this case.
Yes, Anik, I'm also with you. A and D are very close, but I think selection was D.
For me, it's either C or D.
सर आप म्यूट पे हैं सर आप अभी भी म्यूट पे हैं
Okay, so the answer should be D, guys. Let's look at the question. So the project is near completion phase. The client notices that the application developed so far, in that there is a missing feature. Okay, अभी तो पेन चल रहा था. Okay, okay, this can also be used for scrolling, or can I do like this? Okay, okay, it was clearly discussed as a part of requirement, and after discussion, we found it documented too. Okay, it was there. Okay, for sure. So we want to check what is the problem. Okay, it was supposed to be implemented, but it was not implemented. We want to check what is the problem. So first of all, guys, tell me how do you the answer is D, okay, and most of the votes are for D. But tell me, how do you guys solve a question? What is your approach?
Sir, because project in external closing phase, na.
No, no,
So
no,
external.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about a general approach. What is the approach for solving a question?
So
सर
currently, what project manager has to do is to provide a solution, not do the analysis, because we are uh, project manager has to deliver, right? So the delivery should happen.
Yeah, so here we are talking about problem identification. Yes. Okay, so the approach to solve the question would be simple. When we would read the question, we would try to identify the problem. Whatever are the question set that I have, most of them are related to my rule number one, which is identify the problem and relate the problem with the solution. We would identify the problem. This is always there. Okay, this is always there. Okay. And while doing this, try to think of the answer. Don't look at the answer options for now. Anyways, we just read the question part, right? We don't look at the answer. We first read the question part because we already have that knowledge. We already have that mindset. Try to think what could be the probable answer. Okay. And then look at the answer options. Okay. Of course, after that, we have gone through the technique part. Okay, we can apply that and we can easily eliminate the answer options. All those things are there. But always and always follow this first. This would give you absolute clarity where is the right answer. Okay, let's look at the answer options now. Okay, identify gaps in the process to check the plan followed or not. Okay, this is fine. Okay, this is sounding okay, but this is not solving the problem. Okay, but could be one of the step. I can do this to find the problem. Okay,
I think
but if I
this is my thought. Identify the gaps in the process is when after delivery, when we go for the retrospective meeting as part of Agile. All right.
okay,
So we
hmm,
we we do the execution and then we do the product demo. Maybe during the product demo, we identified that the uh, The one
Nitin,
of the
Nitin, wait.
delivery is not there,
Yeah,
and then we what we did that we discussed with the team and we worked for the corrective action. But when we are doing the retrospective with our internal team members, that time this could be applicable, but not before. All right. So
okay.
so immediate
See,
action should be
Nitin,
to discuss with the team.
we need to understand one thing, okay? See, there are many questions wherein it goes for all of us, guys. We need to understand the situation, whether this question is coming from waterfall or from agile. We need to understand that. That would be applicable in some of the scenarios. But in this case, we cannot assume that this is agile question. Let me read the question once again. If we have to think, okay, this is for sure agile question, for those we have certain keywords. If in the question there is the word product owner, sprint retrospective, sprint, scrum master, backlog refinement, or sprint velocity, sprint goal, all these are the keywords for agile, or maybe they are directly mentioning that this is agile question. If that is the case, then we would definitely say this is agile question. Otherwise, the basic assumption would be this is, general project management. This could be applicable for agile or waterfall. So we have to be very careful. When you were explaining this, Nitin, you were assuming that this is agile. Okay, which I did not notice. I will read it once again. Okay. Feature could also be applicable for waterfall. Okay. So let me read the question once again and I can be sure whether it is agile or not. Okay. Let's read the question once again. Okay. The project needs a main phase, missing feature. Okay. Clearly requirement documented too. I'm not sure that this is agile question. Okay,
Mhm.
feature could also be used as a general word. Okay, can also be used in waterfall. Okay, I should be saying predictive, I know. Okay, so let's not assume that this is agile. There would be many questions wherein we will have to identify whether this is predictive or whether this is adaptive. Okay, so in this case, can I move, Nitin?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So option A, we were reading option A, identify gaps in the process to check the plan followed or not. Sounding okay, but kind of not providing the solution to my problem, kind of, but sounding okay. But when I read further, okay, check this with external audit. I mean, this is not making sense at all. Okay, why do I check with external audit? Okay, there is some problem. We have already identified that the problem is there, and we have also related that problem with the documentation that is already mentioned in the question. So, because of this part, this is a strict no-no. Okay, this options become a strict no-no. If only the first part was there, then I was comfortable to keep it parked, saying, okay, this could be my right option. But because of the second half, I'm saying this is a strict no-no. Okay, let's look at option number B. Initiate discussion with an expert to identify alternative solution for the missing requirement. This is not a situation wherein we need to consult an expert. Okay, we would consult an expert in those situations wherein we don't know what to do. Okay, but is this situation sounding like that? That we need to consult an expert, we don't know what to do? Not sounding like that at all. And we look for alternative solutions. No, this is a soft no for me for now. Okay, because this is not a situation that we need to go to an expert. Let's look at C. Analyze the impact of the missing feature. Until then, stop the further delivery of the project. Okay. See, if we say, let's say till this, okay. This is sounding okay. Till here, it is okay. Okay, analyzing the impact of the missing feature could be a good thing. Okay, we can do that, but for all the okay options, there could be a sequence. Okay, but the moment I see till then further stop the delivery, this becomes a very strict no, no, no. Can we stop the project? No. We are here to deliver the project. And that's where this becomes a strict no-no. Okay, now discuss with the project team and work for corrective actions. I mean, this is sounding like a solution, and we are also collaborating with the project team. Okay, we are discussing, we are collaborating. Okay, this collaboration is a very broad term, guys. We would face this collaboration in multiple questions. We would discuss this again and again. I would try and find those tough questions where it would be tough to identify where collaboration is happening. Okay, I was trying to find that tough question, but I could not find it. But I will do find it. Okay, so here collaboration is happening. We are also talking about corrective actions. Okay, what is corrective action? What is preventive action? We know that, right? Can I get a yes? And if no, we can
Yes,
discuss.
yes, yes. No, we know.
Okay, great. Okay, can I move on to the next
So
question?
this collaboration is one of the technique we could refer here, right? You mentioned in your techniques.
Yeah, see, collaboration is one of the key aspect that
Mhm.
we must be looking for, yes. Because we are a project team. Whenever we are facing any problem, there could be a high chance that if we are collaborating and finding a solution, that is the best solution. See, this is the question wherein, okay, the numbering is incorrect. I can delete the numbering. Okay, this is the question wherein we are sure that this is agile question. Okay. Why? Because there is the word product owner. Please attempt this.
Mhm.
Go for just one answer, please.
Mhm.
PMP is about selecting one answer option. If it is not mentioned that we have to select two answer option. Ankit, Prashant, what's your answer?
I'm putting in a chat, but for me it's B.
Sir, I'm confused
B.
between B and D because both of them involve collaboration. Uh,
Both are
I'm
actually very close.
I'm conflicted between the two.
See, let's read the question. Okay. This is agile for sure. In product owner, the product owner is very particular about the details of deliverables. Okay. PO don't want any risk. Okay. And hence, carefully checks the deliverables at the end of each sprint. Okay. Okay. This is fine. Are you guys getting it? This is a very normal process. This is a normal process. We are supposed to do that, right? PO
Yes.
is supposed to do that. Okay. What the PM should do to meet the expectations of the product owner. First of all, by looking at the question, are you guys able to understand that any risk? This word is there just to divert your mind because this is a very normal process. Come on. If I am assigning some task to my team members, I assign some user story. Of course, when I'm saying assigning, we are working as a team. Okay. We are working as a team. We decided the sprint backlog. We pulled some sprint backlog. There could be a good chance that my team member doesn't want to work on that. Are we going to say that there is a risk? Are we going to capture that somewhere as a risk? In normal situation, I don't think. Okay. So in this case, when I'm reading the question, I told you guys the approach just now. Let's read the question and try to, make up our own mind. Let's apply some concept. So when I'm reading this, the moment I read it, PO don't want any risk and hence carefully checks the deliverables at the end of each sprint. I mean, this is a very normal process. So I feel that, any risk word we are just putting there so that the student gets confused. Okay, now read the answer options. Okay. Establish risk management plan. Oh my God. The moment I read it, I feel a no, no. This cannot be the answer. Why? Because we are talking about risk management plan. Where do we prepare the risk management plan? Do we prepare risk management plan in Agile?
No, in predictive approach or waterfall approach.
Okay. So seems like a strict no-no. Okay, but let me read further. Establish risk management plan so that if there is any risk with respect to expectations of PO not met, then we can trigger the action plan. Okay, I mean, sounding like a no for me. Okay, this is a no, but let's see if this could be the answer option because
So one of one
I
of the
would.
reason one of the reason I could say here, the thought process is why we are saying no, because we are not supposed to let things happen and then we do the trigger action plan, reactive. All right. So there are many things ideally what proactively we can do. So it's like taking a preventive action should be your criteria rather than reactive or corrective action. So this approach is more of key, because here it is not said thing has already happened. It says it should not happen. So PO should
Mhm.
be in advance what he can do to meet the expectation of the product owner. So if we say A is maybe the result where it will happen and it already happened, and then we are now taking a corrective action where there is a risk. Now we can trigger an action plan. So that is a corrective approach. So this should not be the first criteria.
So Nitin, I would say that, see, there are certain risks which would be there in the process, and for that, we definitely have to, you know, for managing those risks, we need to have some sort of plan in place.
Mhm.
Okay. So the approach that you are, if you are saying this approach, let's say for waterfall side, still for predictive side, still, there would be certain risk which would be there in the process, and if those are happening, okay, we can have trigger mechanism for those. If those are happening, we would go by risk management plan. So it happens, we have to plan it accordingly. Okay, am I able to clear your doubt, or do you want to ask something further?
No, no, I'm okay with this.
Okay, see, let's look at option B. uh, collaborate collaborate with the team. Okay, grammatical error seems to be there. Collaborate with the team to develop a detailed delivery plan to ensure PO's expectations are met. Again, detailed delivery plan. Again, this is becoming a strict no-no. Okay, why? Because agile is all about, uh, we prefer people over process. We prefer working software over comprehensive document. So if we
Mhm.
go by agile values and agile principle, this sounds like a bad option. Okay. We are talking about detailed delivery plan. Okay. Sounding
Mhm.
like a bad option. Okay.
Correct.
So again, this is a no. Ensure expectations of the PO are met. We know that, for agile, there are other tools. Okay. There are other techniques. Okay. We have definition of done. We have acceptance criteria, those things are there. uh, C, ensure that the objectives of each sprint are clearly communicated, okay, clearly communicated to all team members, and adherence to the agile process. Okay, sounding like okay option. Okay, involve team well in advance in the beginning of the project and ensure team is trained in all possible agile tools. All possible agile tools. Okay. So who was saying that there is a close call between C and D? The product owner is very particular about the details of the deliverables. Okay. I designed this question long time back. Okay. And I liked it. This was confusing. That's the reason I kept it. But I didn't bother to, read it again and check for the answers. Okay. And I like doing it. Okay. Because while doing this, I think we develop the thought process. Okay. You would not find these questions anywhere at all. Okay. So in this case, I would go with the option. Okay, let me read the question once again. Okay, don't want any risk. So we are talking about deliverable at the end of each sprint. Are you guys with me? Each sprint. So where can I talk about, let's say we are talking about sprint related goals. This is the one. Okay. But here we are talking about, this is more, strategic. Okay. Maybe the team is trained on all agile tools needed. This could be, done in the beginning if the team was not, trained on the tools. But that is also not the problem in the question, right? This is also not the problem in the question. Okay, so the answer is C. Are you guys comfortable or do you have any questions?
Each sprint.
No, sir.
Okay, so this was a tough question, guys. Can we move on to the next one?
Sir, I think even I'll go with B.
B?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, guys, B is the correct answer. I think I need not to explain much here. So whenever we see the question, what should we do next? Simply, there could be a chance that, okay, we can have multiple answer options correct, but we need to look for something which is helping us to solve the problem or, taking a step to solve the problem. Definitely the answer is B. Why the other answer options are wrong? When we look at answer option A, immediately word, whenever we see that, we have to quickly react. Okay, that answer option is most probably a wrong answer option, but let's read it further. Okay, so immediately do something. No, we don't want to do that. We are project managers. We want to think, we want to analyze, we want to understand the situation first, and then we want to take an action. Okay, and connect with experts. Okay, in some other options, it could be a good thing to be done. But in this situation, I don't think this is required, connecting to an expert and check the impact on the project. I could do that, but do that later. I could do that, but do that later. But doesn't sounds like a good option. Okay. So two things immediately making me very uncomfortable. Connecting to expert doesn't sound like a situation wherein we don't know what to do. But let's read the other answer option. Next is answer option B, sounding like a very sound option. This is a sound option. Right, let's understand. Okay, if the stakeholders are saying that they are concerned, that let's simply connect with them, try to understand their concern, right? Okay, sounding like a very good option. It is a sound, meaningful option. C, conduct a survey. Oh my God, why do I conduct a survey for this? Collect suggestions, okay, from local people. Why do I do so much of things? In question, we are not in a situation wherein we have to do survey, take suggestions, connect to multiple people and all those things. So it doesn't make sense at all. Let's link problem with the solution. Doesn't make sense at all. Okay, strict no no. Okay, work with the government officials to devise a plan so that the project is compliant. This could be done maybe in the later stages of the project, but not at all for this question, for this situation at all. So B is the right answer option.
In D,
Fantastic.
in
Hmm.
D, I think even the project manager is somewhere don't have that level of authority also to take this step.
Work with the government officials to devise a plan. Uh, See, it's a debatable thing, but I think project manager can do that.
Mhm.
Okay, so depending upon the question situation, it could be done, it could not be done. But for this answer, for this question, for sure, D is not the correct option. See, it
Right.
would, I as a project manager, when I have to deliver something, if there are stakeholders, I can definitely connect with them.
Correct, correct. So this is where
See,
I'm saying that uh, communication between stakeholder and government official is there. But by bypassing stakeholders, a project manager cannot go and meet the government officials.
yeah, that's where answer B is correct.
Yes.
right? We are saying that we would first connect with stakeholders, understand their concern, and that's why I'm saying, we could do these things, we could do that later.
Yes,
I
yes.
said we can do D option, but we could do that later, but not for this question at all. The situation which is there in the question, we must not do that. Okay. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Oh, it's sounding like a simple one, guys. Okay, fantastic job, guys. Incremental. Okay, I think we
Sir,
need not to talk about.
yeah,
Yeah,
one more
yeah.
thing. Instead of non-predictive, there is agile option. Then agile is a better one for this question.
Yeah, that is the reason I kept this question here. See, if we are saying, if we are using any term which is not defined, this is a non-defined term. Have you guys heard non-predictive? We know
No,
there is
no.
something called as waterfall. We know that there is something called as agile. We know that there is something called as predictive. We know that there is something called as adaptive. Okay, so never go with those answer options. Try to avoid those answer options which are non-defined terms. These are not good answer options. But if I would force you, if I would give those answer options which are not at all matching, and you don't find agile, then what would you do? You will have to go with this. That's the learning in this question. Okay. Now, if I change this to agile, then what would be my answer? Tell me,
D
guys,
agile.
what would be my answer?
D agile.
Okay, Nitin says agile. Ankit, Prashant. प्रशांत का ही क्वेश्चन है. It is Prashant's question and Prashant has to answer it.
It's agile, sir, because in that case we have the
No, I don't need it because we discussed that. Let's save
yeah,
time.
okay, it's agile.
Okay, how about you, Ankit?
Sir, agile.
Okay, see, I don't know. I don't know. I will read the question once again. Okay, basically, what is iterative? We have learned iterative, incremental. What are the differences, guys? Tell me what are the differences between what are the keywords that we learned for these?
Uh,
Prashant will tell me. Okay,
there is
Nitin is
one
telling.
delivery and there are multiple deliveries.
Okay, in which one? In iterative or incremental?
In iterative, there are multiple deliveries. Incremental, there is one delivery.
In incremental, in iterative. Okay, in iterative, we are saying how many deliveries are there? Multiple or single?
Single.
Okay,
Single with
fantastic.
accuracy, quality,
Single, and
with
here
quality.
accuracy.
Yes.
Okay, and here we can have more than one.
Multiple.
Yeah, multiple. And this is about speed,
Speed.
right? So to answer this question, I would read the question once again. Okay. And I would see if there is single delivery or multiple deliveries, or maybe some hint about, accuracy or speed. See, guys, we are putting additional situation in this question. This question was not drafted for answer D option with agile. Okay, but let's try to do that. Okay, since you
Mhm.
guys are requesting for it. Okay, let's read the question carefully. We need to find these things. Okay, we need to find something for this. Okay, James is working on a new project which is focused on product development. After talking to the customers, James understood that they do not have much clarity and its feature, and their expectation is if they can collaborate in the product development, that would be great. They are looking for regular connects and feedback sessions. See, nowhere we are talking about this. So this question is not a good fit for this one. Okay. Nowhere we can select A. This would become a wrong question, because nowhere we have talked about single delivery, multiple delivery. Nowhere we have talked about accuracy, speed. But for sure we are talking about, multiple to and fro. We are talking about collaboration. Okay, so that is for sure, incremental is the answer. If we put agile as answer option D, then this would be a wrong question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sure PMI would never do that. That's the reason I have also not done that, because I know the concepts. I'm the trainer. Okay, let's move on. I hope that gives the clarification, Prashant.
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay. It's just that once we are clear, absolutely clear with the thought, you know, we can give the answer. But I think you guys gave the answer as agile, right?
Yes, sir. I'm thinking that
Okay,
to resolve
please,
this.
please revise the notes. No, no, no. See, always follow the approach that you have to read the question carefully. This entire session, this entire session is about my rule number one. Read the question carefully, relate the problem with the solution. That's it. And when you guys asked me, requested me, change the answer option D, agile, I did not go directly with agile. No. My job is, as a student, I must read the question again because the answer option is changing. So this session is all about read the question carefully, relate the problem with the solution. And do you guys remember the one question uh, that I discussed with you guys, wherein there were two problems in the question? You guys remember in one-on-one session? Okay, we will revise that question later. Once again, that was a very good question. Okay, let's
When you
continue.
had all the three options, right? Iterative was there, incremental was there, agile was there, and
No,
waterfall
no,
was
that was a
different question.
straightforward question.
Mm-hmm.
That was a straightforward question. There I was explaining the concept of iterative, agile, all these things, you know. But that was a straight question. I'm talking about that question wherein the team was not sure how to proceed and do the backlog refinement. We will talk about that later. We would revise it again, not a problem. I will share that question once again with you guys. Let's move on to the next question. This is a tough question. Okay, when we are reading the question, we are talking about extending the scope. Website development agreed to extend the scope. We are talking about extending the scope. Okay, and we also need the same delivery date. Okay, so pr- in the question, we are saying that the team must work
24 by 7.
24/7. Okay, this is a very tricky question, guys. Okay, the answer for this would be D. Okay, let's look at the answer option. Okay, okay, start night shift for the co-located team members. First of all, anything that is happening to specific team members is an absolute no-no. Okay, we want to work equally for the team. Whatever that we are applying, we want to apply to the entire team. If the team is, located at multiple places, we want to ensure that all of them are, maybe doing the night shift if required. We don't want to go with this option at all. Okay. We want to treat all the team members equally and fairly, for sure. Okay. So don't go with those answer options. Okay. Crashing the project. Okay. Resource leveling. First of all, this resource leveling is completely eliminated. Why this is eliminated? Because this is not at all aligned with the problem. Okay, why do we do resource leveling? Had anyone answer resource leveling?
Everybody should be get equal amount of workload.
Yes, yes. What else? I need one specific key characteristic that we discussed. Very important point for resource leveling we are missing. Very important point. It can change critical path. Okay. It can change critical path. So now tell me, guys, we are talking about where is that same delivery date?
So critical path means it can change the timelines when we are talking about resource leveling.
Yes, it can change the timeline. Yes.
But here we cannot change the timeline.
Yes. This
Mhm.
session is all about identifying the problem and relating the problem with the solution. Okay, so this cannot be the answer option. Who selected answer C, guys? Ankit, or was it Ankit or Prashant?
I select.
Okay, Ankit, please revise notes.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, please revise notes carefully. I told you guys, see, I have picked specific keywords there. The way we were talking about this thing, okay? Very specific keywords. Very specific keywords I have put in there. I would share the notes with you also, Nitin. I would share the notes with you. You can take a print out of those. So please do revise, please practice questions. Okay. Now crashing the project. Okay, somebody explain me what is crashing.
Add resources to reduce the timeline.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah.
In
Adding
hiring,
resources, yes.
yeah, in hiring virtual teams also we are doing same. We are adding the resources to reduce the timeline.
But how is it different? How is it different? Okay, in different time zones and schedules, we are trying to make evenness. Okay, we are trying to work 24/7, right? So guys, we are missing on very important basic topics. Please revise it. The only reason I kept these questions here is because I want to discuss the technique. You would hardly see me picking any direct question. The reason I picked this question, this was sounding like a direct question. The reason I put it, created this question for discussion because I wanted to discuss the concept. This was the concept. I would hardly pick any direct question and discuss that with you. I think that is not my job, guys. Right? Am I right or wrong? Ankit, Prashant, that is not my job because we have already discussed those direct things now. Right? If we are going to discuss those direct things again, then we would end up wasting time.
Right, sir.
If if there is any specific concept or something required, let me know. We can discuss about that. Okay, I would not pick any direct questions for sure. I would only discuss the technique. Okay. And are you guys able to relate the question that we have done so far? It's all about identifying the problem and relating the problem with the solution. Are you guys able to relate?
Ji, sir.
Okay. So I will
Right.
not pick direct questions, guys. If you would read my book carefully, Agile book, you would find, I think, what's your feedback, Prashant? How many questions you could solve using my Agile ebook? Now Prashant is practicing a lot of questions. Prashant, because Nitin is there new on the call, na?
Yes,
That's
sir.
why I'm asking. So how many questions are you able to solve using my book? How many concepts are covered?
Yeah, it's in Agile Super ebook. It's really nice. Here about I am already telling that sir. 80% question I am able to locate that in that books.
Yeah. And I think few questions you were not able to cover were related to graph.
Yes.
And that's the reason I have elaborated those in the new version of the book that I have shared with you, Nitin. I will share it with you guys also. I think I haven't shared that with all of you. I will share that. Okay, let's try the next question. So there are two problems, right? This is the first problem and
Mhm.
this is the second problem. Okay. But what is the real problem, guys?
Stakeholder is complaining that he is not receiving the complaints.
Yes, yes, this is my problem. For this problem, I have to answer the question because this is the complaint. Okay, this could be, one of my regular thing that I am already discussing. Okay, I would take care of that, but this is my problem of the question. Okay, now let's read the answer option. So whatever that is related to, let's say this, okay, I would ignore it. Okay, ensuring capturing testing requirements in the requirement traceability matrix. Okay, so we are talking about have not received the testing report. So it has nothing to do with requirement traceability matrix. What do we do in requirement traceability matrix, guys? We capture all the requirements, who gave the requirements, high, medium, low, requirement descriptions, all those details would be a part of requirement traceability matrix. So not at all related to the problem. Okay, I can eliminate this. Okay, ensuring correctly capturing requirements in the stakeholder register. Okay. See, we are talking about requirements again, but we are not talking about what kind of requirements. Okay. This could be my communication requirement.
So when we are
Right?
talking about stakeholder register,
Hmm.
primarily it is the requirements related or coming from stakeholder, primarily
Yes.
communication.
Yes. No, not just communication. It could be about reporting also. It could be about some other aspect also. They might also say that, okay, don't involve me in regular meetings, but it's mandatory for me to get involved in the, let's say monthly reviews or maybe at the toll gate reviews. I want to specifically receive certain type of reports. For example, in this one, we are saying that key stakeholders is complaining that have not received the software testing report. So could be a chance that this was one of those stakeholders who specifically wanted to see the software testing report. Could be this guy is from the QA testing team and he is heading that team. Could be.
Mhm.
Okay. Moving on to the next one, sounding like, quality management procedure are somewhat related to this, but it has nothing to do with the problem in the question. Okay. Regularly checking the communication logs. Okay. So communication logs is something, those are just documentation. When we got in touch with who, what was the date, what was discussed. In most of the software, we see this feature nowadays. Communication logs are there and we can track. We can go back and check when did we do what. Or do we want to attempt this question and then take a break?
Let's attempt this question and then take it.
Okay. Okay. Since I have mentioned, let's attend this. Yeah.
Uh, for me, it is D. Higher side, it is D.
Okay, Nitin says D. Ankit, Prashant, what's your answer?
Sir, I'll
B
go
and D
with
both are same, but somewhere D is more clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir,
Okay.
I'm I'm confusing between A and D, but I'm going with the A. I'm already putting in chat box also.
Okay. How about you, Ankit?
Sir, I'll go with A.
Okay. So guys, how are we supposed to approach in solving the question?
Sir, this project, I'm looking for the keywords in the completed project deliverables.
First we would read the question carefully. We would understand the problem in the question carefully. Okay, and then relate that with the answer options, right? Okay, guys, the
Yes.
answer, I mean, this is a very good question because this question is forcing us towards answer option D. So even without doing anything, the answer option D is correct. Completed project deliverables. Okay. Are these completely in line with each other? Sounds like yes. Okay.
Mhm.
To the operations group, we are handing it over to the operations group. The project manager discovers that audit report from an early project phase is missing. Okay. But still, we are saying complete the project closure. If we read the language carefully, we are saying that, okay, we would still complete the project closure. Okay. We don't care about this problem. This is the problem. Is this answer option A sounding like, that we are dealing with the problem?
No, sir.
If we would have said, update the audit report and then complete the project closure, this would be a perfect answer option. Fine, not a problem with it. Okay, but right now the language is tough. Okay, the question language is tough, the answer option language is tough, but this is sounding like we are not doing it. We are not dealing with the problem. We have to solve this problem. Okay, so answer option A is absolutely no, no. Okay, ask operations group to accept the project without the audit report, not making sense. We are not dealing with the problem. Fine. Okay, remove the audit report. I mean, I don't want to read it further. It's a strict no-no. Okay, from the
Mhm.
required project documents and no, 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 no. I don't want to read it further. Okay, strict no-no. Okay, now look at option number D. Inform the operations group about the missing audit report. I know, we are not doing something concrete. We are not doing something concrete. But what would happen after this? Tell me. Once we are doing this, okay, I have informed, then there are only two options. They will say, we will update, or they will say, you update. Only
So,
these two options are
so is
possible,
the
right?
scenario like the audit has happened, only the report is missing? It's not that the activity has not happened, the activity happened, the report, the output artifact is missing. So we are
Yes,
informing that the artifact is missing from
yes, yes.
when we are doing the transfer of all the documents, one of the
Yes, you are
audit
correct.
report artifact is missing. This is what we are
Yes,
communicating.
yes,
Okay.
you are correct. And from the question statement, we can understand that this is sounding like something important.
Hmm.
Okay, this is something important that should be a part of the project closure activity should be included in the closure report that we can easily understand. So this question is forcing us to choose the option D, and option D sounds like we are not doing something, but we are at least doing something towards the problem rather than not doing at all or doing something completely wrong. And that's the reason option D is correct. Are you guys comfortable?
But
Yes.
sir, just inform
Ankit,
me
Prashant?
resolve this problem, sir. Because in option D, inform the operation group about the missing report. So just informing, we are not
We
giving
are
some
not
solid.
solving. I agree. I agree. But if we compare that with answer A, B, C, and D, I'm forcing you guys. You would see these questions. Forcing to choose best option. I would have more examples for these. We would talk about this when we would solve the questions for follow the definition. That is also one of the rule, right? Follow the definition. I would get some, answers, questions for this scenario. I would force you guys to choose the best answer option, and there we will be breaching the definition a little bit. Okay. And when I will be discussing, picking up those questions, I would try and get those questions from some other authors. Okay. I will not intentionally get my questions there so that you guys cannot question me. No, no, Manoj sir, you are creating a wrong scenario and giving it to us. I would intentionally pick it from some other authors. Okay. You would get questions like this, forcing you to choose the best answer option. And here, this is the best answer option. Okay. Okay. Can I move on to the next question?
Yes. Yes.
And guys, these are tough questions. Okay. These are tough questions that I'm discussing. These are not the regular questions. You would not see, I would say that you would get questions like this, but the percentage of those questions would be less. Okay. For sure. Okay. These are all tough questions because I want to train you guys on my rule number one. Identify the problem, relate the problem with the solution. That is the reason I have intentionally picked these tough questions. Okay. So don't worry. You would not get back to back, tough questions like this in the actual exam. No. Okay. So it's 11 a.m. Can we take a break? We would come back at 11:15. Ankit, are you there?
Ji sir.
Okay. Okay. Good. Great. So I think we can start. Okay. Let's try this question, guys. प्रशांत आंसर सही आना चाहिए डोंट डिसअपॉइंट
सर आपने क्वेश्चन ही ऐसे सिलेक्ट करी है कि उसके क्वेश्चन में ना
मैंने
दो दो बार ऐसे
ये
बहुत
क्वेश्चन
डिफिकल्ट है।
सिलेक्ट नहीं करे हैं आई हैव ड्राफ्टेड दीज क्वेश्चंस
बट सर ये बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट है, मतलब मैंने ये हमेशा दो चॉइस के बीच में ना कंफ्यूजन रहता ही रहता है।
हाँ इंटेंशनली आई एम पुटिंग दीज क्वेश्चंस ना सो दैट यू गाइस कुड प्रैक्टिस दिस
Sir,
एंड इंक्रीज योर लेवल
sir,
एग्जाम का
sir,
लेवल अगर इधर है आपका लेवल इधर रहेगा
sir, my bad, my bad. I'll go with C. So
यस
maximizing
यस
the value of the product, yes.
So,
यस
so he
यस
should, and yeah, value. Exactly. So the value, what
दैट वाज आई वाज लुकिंग
stakeholder
फॉर
is
यस
looking for, that value he should understand and he should get this delivered with the help of team and project manager.
Okay. Okay, good, great. See, all the explanation is fine. That is there. But I was looking for maximizing the value.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys would get similar questions like this, but maybe not this tough, maybe. Okay, those questions would be focused on the scenario that, somebody is asking us to add something in between the sprint, asking us to add a feature, deliver a user story. Okay, but can we do that? Can we do that alone? The answer is no.
No,
Without PO, we cannot do that. Without
correct.
PO, we cannot do that. If we have to prioritize something, the PO has to be involved. Okay, now let's look at the question and then the answer options. Okay, let's see how to deal with this. Same thing. We would first read the question. Okay, we would understand the problem. We would try and relate the problem with the solution. Okay. So see guys, this is the language of the question is tough. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but after reading the question, please understand the scenario very very clearly. Okay. We are talking about the current sprint, and we know that we have picked up the sprint goal. We are in the mid of the sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are in the mid of the sprint. We have decided a sprint goal. How we would have decided
So
the sprint goal?
that means the product demo and retrospect is yet to happen. We are in the before this activity, we are in execution of the sprint.
Yeah, that is fine. Yes, that is right. Yes. But retrospective and product demo and all that is not required to be discussed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Simply, we are in the mid of the sprint, we are in the mid of the delivery. But what we would have done before reaching to this point, we would have discussed, we would have previously done the backlog refinement. After backlog refinement, then we would have further had a connect. We decided the sprint goal, what all features or the user stories that we want to pick for the current sprint, right?
Correct.
And we as a team, we decided the sprint goal, we picked the sprint goal. And when
We
we get
cannot
a
change.
situation like this, yeah, we get a situation like this, the simple rule of thumb is that we cannot change our sprint goal. We have to deliver the sprint goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in my super ebook, I have already mentioned that if there is some scenario, okay, wherein we have to change something, then that's a call has to be taken by PO. PO has the authority, the product owner has the authority to cancel the sprint. So in this question, we see that there is a lot of information given which is not required. This information is actually not required. We don't care if he is from marketing team. A key stakeholder is from marketing team. We don't care. We don't care that he often suggests business value and marketing requirements to the product owner. We
Mm-hmm.
don't care. See, product owner would be interacting with lot of other folks we don't know. Maybe with the marketing team, maybe with the designing team, understanding the requirement, how the product design should look like. Could be. Okay, we don't care. Simple. Product owner is the face for business value for us. Product owner is the voice of customer. Product owner is the voice of business. So all this information which we see here, this is not relevant. Okay, this is not relevant. Okay. Now further, this guy, this key stakeholder is asking the team to deliver a critical feature further. To confuse, we are saying that this is very important and it is complement. Okay, this is adding more confusion. Okay, more confusion. Even if it is complement to the current sprint or to the current user stories, still, this is something that we will be delivering on top of the current sprint goal. That is a strict no-no. Okay. But if it is a strict no-no, what is the best way to possibly handle this situation? The best way to handle this situation is get in touch with PO. PO is
Mm-hmm.
the authorized person to take the decision, right? Get in touch with PO. PO is the only person who is authorized to take the decision in this. Of course, PO might be collaborating with the other team members. I know that it would be a collaborative effort. And then after that, PO might take a call. This is so important and critical that we have to cancel the current sprint and then think about picking up a new sprint goal. Why does that happens? Because when we pick up anything new, apart from the sprint goal, okay, in that case, we want to again go back and do a discussion, try to identify the right kind of dependencies of this particular new requirement on the other user stories or on the other features. Okay, that's the reason we follow the process. In this case, if something has to be, delivered, PO will take a call and cancel the current sprint. And we would again go back, we would discuss, we would decide the sprint goal, and there we would include this new requirement into the current sprint. This is the right way to do that. Okay. So without looking at the answer options, we know these concepts. If if we forgot, then not a problem. We have revised it now. Okay. So now let's look at the answer options. Okay. So the question language was tough. Okay. There were a lot of confusing things were there, but simple. We would stick to the current sprint. That's it. We would stick to the current sprint. If we have to make some changes, we would take the help from PO. Without
Mhm.
involvement of PO, we cannot do anything. Okay. Now in the answer options, okay. Collaborate. Oh, collaborate, a very beautiful word is there in option A. Collaborate with the team to adjust the capacity. Okay. Can we adjust the capacity just like that? I think no. But let's further read it. Okay, beautiful word, collaborate, adjust the capacity to work, and work to deliver the feature which is asked by the stakeholder. Okay, first of all, we are breaching the sprint goal, changing the sprint goal. Okay, this is a no-no. Okay, intentionally, they have putted beautiful words here, collaborate with the team, because we know for agile, this is a beautiful word. Adjust the capacity. No, we cannot adjust the capacity. Let's understand this, guys. See, capacity is all about availability of the team members. Okay, we already would have updated the schedule of the team members. We know what is their availability for the current sprint. Let's say one team member already planned for, 3 holidays, 3 leaves, and we know that, for XYZ number of days, that guy would not be available. So we know the capacity of the team. Adjusting the capacity also doesn't make sense. Capacity is all about, number of available hours that we have in the current sprint to deliver the current goal. Very simple definition that I can give. Okay. Now look at option number B. A is wrong. Do the impact analysis with experts and find if it is really adding value to the current sprint. Okay. See, again, we are breaching the current sprint goal. So this is a no-no. But the way answer option is designed, it is sounding like meaningful. But we cannot breach the current sprint goal. If we have to do, there is no involvement of PO. Again, no. Wrong answer. Okay, collaborate. Again, beautiful word they are using. Collaborate with stakeholder. Sponsor. Oh, sponsor. No. Okay. We're going to the sponsor for, something that we can do ourselves is a strict no-no. Okay, we can go to the sponsor for certain scenarios. In certain scenarios, we would discuss about that. But yeah, anything that is supposed to be delivered in the project, simple assumption is that we are capable to deliver it. If we are the project team, we would have hired the right kind of team members with the right kind of skills. We are capable enough to do the delivery ourselves. There is also one agile project manager who is skilled enough to take care of the team. If the team is not able to do backlog refinement, the agile project manager would guide them, would coach them. Okay, we would never ever go for such scenario to the sponsor. Okay, that's the reason I'm saying that this is a strict no-no, but let's read it further. The project team to discuss possible next steps. No, no, not required. See, why do we need to involve sponsor? Okay, and we are talking something, this option is sounding like we are going to the senior management for discussing about the right kind of solution that we can take. No, this is not a good option at all. Okay, let's look at option D, because I could eliminate option A, B, and C. Now I know the option C has to be correct, but let's read it. Talk to the PO. Okay, talk to the PO is a good thing, very good thing. We are talking about picking up something, making some changes to the current sprint. Okay, and team about the situation, since he cannot decide alone. Who is he? Project manager. Okay.
Project manager. Yeah.
That is a good thing. Project manager cannot decide alone. So project manager would involve product owner, would involve team. And this is indirectly what? This is collaboration. This is collaboration. Very nice, very good option. So are we guys comfortable with option D?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I always say I have clearly written in my book. Okay, product owner would decide the value, would do the backlog refinement, and also in the rules itself. Because this is a very important scenario. That's the reason I think on page number 1 in the rules, in the definition I have written, we cannot breach the sprint. Okay, we cannot move from the definitions. I think I took the example of time boxing for sprint, and I explained you this guy,
Yeah.
this scenario. But the only difference is the language of the question is little tough and tricky. Okay, so please be careful for it. Okay, moving on. Hi guys, thanks for watching the video. This was a small video in which I covered rule number 1 of my critical thinking technique. What is critical thinking technique? That's basically the project management mindset. What I have done is I have carefully designed critical thinking technique in which there is a structured approach how to solve the questions. And as per my rule number 1, we should be focusing on identifying the problem and relating the problem with the solution. And the same thing I was telling to my students in between the video. So if you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up and also put in your comments so that this video gets spread to more and more students. And I would target for at least 1000 likes. If I get that, I would create a follow-up video. So in making this video, I have put in a lot of efforts in editing also, while creating the questions also. So I would request all of you to please like the video and put in some comments. If you have any questions, also feel free to ask those questions. I would try and answer all the questions.